In this video, we're going to continue to kind of work on finding trig values given some information. So for example, let theta be an angle in quadrant 4 such that the sine of theta is equal to -5/8. Find the secant of theta and the cotangent of theta. Okay, so just like my other problems, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to draw a picture. So our angle is in quadrant 4, right? So our angle goes all the way around this way, theta. So we have some reference triangle. And they tell me that the sine is -5/8. So the very first thing I need to do is I need to worry about where exactly the negative is going to go. And so I kind of take care of that after I take care of the numbers. So I have 5/8. So remember, 5/8 is opposite over the hypotenuse. So we have 5 and we have 8. And now I have a negative, so one of those two values has to be negative. If you look here, right, 8 is on the hypotenuse, and we said the hypotenuse is always positive. It makes sense that we're going down, so that value has to be negative, right? So -5. So you just want to make sure it makes sense based on where you are. We're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find that other side. So we'll say the missing side is a. So a squared plus -5 squared is going to be equal to 8 squared. So a squared plus 25 is going to be equal to 64. We'll subtract 25 from both sides. And so we get a squared equals 39. And then a is going to equal plus or minus the square root of 39. And here, if you look, right, we have to, I don't know if it's positive or negative yet. We have to decide, but we're here along the positive x-axis. So a in this case is in fact going to be positive 39. So this side here is the square root of 39. If we had been over on this side, we would have had to take the negative square root of 39. So now I've got all my sides, so I can figure out what we're looking for. So we're looking for the secant of theta and the cotangent of theta. So the secant of theta, remember the secant is going to be the hypotenuse over the adjacent. So it's going to be 8 over the square root of 39. And then the cotangent is the adjacent, so square root of 39 over the opposite, -5. And again, you could put the negative in the bottom. You could stick the negative on the top. You can put it out in front. So I probably would write it as negative square root of 39 over 5. So we'll do one more here. So for example, let theta be an angle in quadrant 3 such that cosine of theta equals -4/5. And we want to find the cosecant of theta and the tangent of theta. Okay, so again, right, I'm in quadrant 3, so that means my angle is this way. So I'm going to draw my reference triangle. And the cosine is -4/5. So again, I'm going to write cosine is x. So 4, the hypotenuse is 5, so adjacent over hypotenuse. And in this case, I'm on this side of the axis, so that 4 should in fact be negative. And then if I do my a squared plus -4 squared equals 5 squared, I end up with a squared plus 16 equals 25. So a squared is going to be 9. So a is going to be plus or minus the square root of 9 or plus or minus 3. So I'm going to come over here, and I know that it should be a 3, but I have to figure out should it be a positive 3 or a negative 3. So if you notice, I'm going down. So in this case, it should actually be a -3. And now I'm going to figure out the things I'm looking for. So the cosecant of theta. So remember, cosecant is going to be the hypotenuse 5 over the opposite, -3. And again, I'm just going to write that as -5/3. Just because I personally don't like to put my negatives in the bottom of fractions, but you can. It's totally fine. And then the tangent of theta is going to be the opposite, -3, over the adjacent, -4. And here you do actually have to rewrite it so it is +3/4. You don't want that double negative.